On to House Joint Resolution 1011 concerning and honoring recognizing concerning honoring and recognizing the military service and contributions of Native American veterans and communities. Who would like to begin? Madam Assistant Majority Leader Bacon.
Thank you, members. It was an honor to bring this resolution on behalf of our Indigenous and Native veterans. I do not identify that way. However, I do recognize that I had two great-grandparents that were Choctaw. I brought this resolution on behalf of my own grandfather. My grandfather retired a general in the Army. And the conversations that we had at the table were very similar to the conversation that our Indigenous neighbors had in regards to why we serve. We know that our past in this country were very fraught and wrought, and there was an intentional commitment to be a face of this country in our armed services so that we can show the values of this country, and that if we live up to them, and our pursuit of living up to them is what makes this nation the greatest in the world, that democracy should be free to all people. And on that note, that is why we bring this resolution, and this resolution is our tribute to our Indigenous neighbors. The chairmen in the communities of the Ute, Mountain Ute and the Southern Ute are watching today. We want to recognize the Indigenous people's service in that, I'm not sure if you heard in the resolution, their demographic has the highest representation of soldiers. There are members from our Ute tribal communities who've had family members who have died in every war since the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And when you look at their veteran associations and their histories, you will see their pictures to the extent that they haven't, as their service truly represents, as you heard, that warrior spirit in protecting the land that is their own. So we just want to recognize Howard Richards Sr., who was the Southern Ute Veteran Association commander, who's also been appointed to the United Veterans Coalition of Colorado as a member. And we want to, again, recognize that the National Native American Veterans Memorial was unveiled and made open to the public in November of 2020. It is designed as a circle balanced intricately on a carved stone drum with 4 lances where people can lay prayers. It is surrounded by reflective benches and the elements of water to honor the land and peace as well.
Representative Charbini.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Temp. Thank you, members, for allowing us to bring this joint resolution. I will echo the sentiments of my esteemed colleague that I am not a Native person, and I recognize that. So in that vein, I reached out to a friend of mine who is. He's a prominent member in the Lakota tribe, and I asked him to give me words from their tribe that I can bring to you and allow them to speak through me. And so that's what I'm going to do now. Thank you. Natives have served in every branch of the U.S. military in every major conflict for over 200 years. Native methods of military engagement became the basis for modern guerrilla warfare. Natives were only given U.S. citizenship so they could continue to serve in the military prior to World War I. The Allies would never have won either World War had it not been for the code talkers from numerous tribal nations. The Axis powers could never break their codes. The first person to give their life in Operation Desert Storm was Lori Piestewa, a Native woman. Yet, the image of Indigenous persons warrior-like is a stereotype of Western culture perpetuated by anthropology, comic books, Hollywood, Westerns, and sports mascots. Nearly 400 treaties were signed between tribal nations and the United States, with peace the immediate and perpetual intent. Most of the 400 treaties have been broken via manipulative U.S. political action. Yet, it has also been the stereotype that natives have served at a higher rate in proportion to their population than any other racial ethnic group. You may ask yourself why. As the first Americans, Native people have never forgotten the service to protect the homelands and the freedom of the people. It is a show of honor as promised when the treaties were signed by the forefathers. Treaties are international law. Thank you.